What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the 6. I'm Rob. Today I'm doing my blind challenge that involves Jeremy, Trinity and C, Mark from Whiskey Whistle, Swami from Malta to Montreal, and Vito from Cast Strength. And that was Jeremy from Sipper Social Club. My wife poured these out and aligned them for me, and she told me not to screw up the order. She has the bottles placed basically with the legend downstairs. So as long as I don't move the order of the glasses, I'll know exactly what is what when she shows me the list. So I'm going to start from left to right and go from there. Let's see what happens. Okay, starting with the one in the far left. Okay, definitely a peated dram. I actually like this quite a bit. Okay, so on the nose, I'm thinking something peated, something like, I don't know, Kilchoman, Longrow, something in that ballpark. Definitely a Scotch. Very interesting. All right, on the palate. Okay, higher ABV. Not loving the palate. First sip though. It's a bit harsh. Probably needs a bit of water. Gonna take a sip, move on to the next one. Okay. On the nose here, I smell something a bit older. Nothing super identifiable. No real peat on the nose, but then again, the one that I had before this was super peated, so that kind of could mess up the order here. Smells like there could be something like Speyside or Highland. It's definitely a Scotch as well, in my opinion, just judging by the nose. Very nice palate. So keep in mind that each of these can be any type of whiskey. So they could predominantly have, the first two that I tried could predominantly have Scotch in them, but they can also have some Irish whiskey in them. They can have some Canadian, American, whatever. Although this one might have a touch of Irish whiskey in it, I'm not sure. So this is the second one in the order, and I don't really know who that is, obviously. But as I drink, you guys will know exactly which one's which. So, not to fret. That's really nice on the palate and the nose. ABV also seems a little bit higher. Again, these are blends, so what they could have done is something similar to what I did with mine, which is mix in some 46%ers with some cast strength ones, bring down the ABV a little bit, and that's what I think is going on with the second one here. All right, moving on to the third. Oof. So very different than the first two. Very sweet. Almost like a butterscotch candy note. Like the old school hard butterscotch candies, like the round ones that break your teeth if you bite into them. Okay, on the palate. I recognize that taste. So, there's a lot of Canadian whiskey that are reminiscent with the flavors I'm getting here. It's nice. Short finish. Also reminiscent with Canadian whiskey. Butterscotch nose. yeah, this is probably predominantly Canadian whiskey. There might be something else in there as well. There could be like some sort of blend of Canadian whiskey with, like, I would say if there's any American whiskey in here, it's probably an American rye. Really nice. On to the second last one here. There's a touch of peat in this one. This kind of reminds me of mine a little bit. It seems like there might be some Lagavulin 12 in this one. On the palate. Oh yeah, definitely Lagavulin on this one. The rest is kind of identifiable, not so identifiable. The rest of this whiskey, the composition of this whiskey, I wouldn't be able to detect because that Lagavulin really screams through on the palate. It might not necessarily be the 12. It could be the 16. It seems like there's some Lagavulin in here. The rest of it, I don't really know. It just tastes like a Lagavulin whiskey to me, to be honest with you. Really nice though. This one is the darkest of the group. On the nose you get a lot of sherry. I mean, I kind of suspected that by the look. Oh, there's something interesting about this one. Like some sort of peat in the background, but it seems like it's like separated. Oh man, that's really good. So there's got to be a lot of Macallan in this one, in my opinion. Something's giving it a peaty taste though, so obviously something was added to it. I'm gonna say that there's some classic cut in this one, but I could be wrong. It does remind me a little bit of the Macallan classic cut that I had this year. Maybe it's the high ABV with those like traditional Macallan flavors that I'm getting. Really well balanced. There's something peated in there, but it's not dominant. So I'm thinking it's like a splash of something peated. Impossible to guess what because it's not a lot. There's something bringing up the ABV in this one, but also something bringing down the ABV in this one. There's probably a blend of younger and older stuff, kind of like mine. I think one of mine was not that I think. One of mine was an Aaron 20-year-old, so that probably would throw some people off because it's an older whiskey. It'll give the whole thing a little bit of an older feel to it. That's kind of what's going on here too. You can tell there's a little bit of a blend of some younger stuff and some higher cask stuff, but something really nice, well balanced in there as well. I'm gonna rank them, and then I'm gonna get my wife to place the bottles in front of who I chose. So really quickly, I'm just gonna do a quick sniff and sip. That one improved a bit. If I had to guess, there's some older stuff in this one as well. Really nice. I like that one. And then to whoever did this one, it's so identifiably Canadian that it's almost not fair to compare it to these guys because the nose is nice. It noses like butterscotch apples almost. with like a eucalyptus like hit as well. Yeah, I mean, Canadian whiskey almost comes off as liqueurish next to these. And then this one's a little peated as well. Honestly, I would just call this one the Lagavulin bottle. There's something blended in this to take away from that peatiness, but I think the base of this is probably like maybe the Game of Thrones Lagavulin or something like that. And then last but not least, the one over here. Yeah, just a super sherry nose. This is a sherry bomb for sure. Yeah, so much more than the rest actually. And there's definitely Macallan in this. I'm not sure what that peated note is. I wonder if they just went with like a Highland Park 18, threw it in there, a Macallan 18, threw it in there, and then like a Macallan Classic cut just to like top that off. Something like that. Which gives me the suspicion that I might know whose this one is. If that's what it is. Could be wrong though. Might not be Macallan at all. Or it might just be the Classic cut with the Highland Park 18. And then maybe something to balance it out. Maybe even one of the editions. The Macallan edition series in there. That's typical Macallan though. The winner is this one here, the Macallan replica. Second place is this one over here, which honestly, I don't even know what kind of Scotch is in here, but I would say that it's predominantly bourbon influenced. Really, really nice though. So Scotch aged in bourbon casks, maybe a light second fill sherry type Scotch. There's something a little bit older in here, and there's probably a couple younger ones to round it out, but really nice overall. So that's my second place. And then I'm gonna go the other peated, the Lagavulin replica right here. That's third. So first, I'll put that ahead. Second, yeah, first, second, third. And then I'm going to go the peated Kilchoman / something else peated here, and then the Canadian whiskey here. So first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And now my wife is going to come in and place them where they belong. So I'm going to line these back up just so that we don't confuse anything here, and get her to place the bottles. Alright, be right back. And we're back. Alright, so I was probably pretty bang on with who I thought did what. The ones that confused me the most were the three on this end, I guess. I kind of had a suspicion that this one was either Mark or Jeremy from Sipper Social Club. So Mark from Whiskey Whistle or Jeremy from Sipper Social Club. And this one was Mark from Whiskey Whistle. So that's the second place one. Jeremy, this is going to look fixed because I picked Jeremy, and he told me a little secret that I can't say, but I guess you'll find out whenever we air these. Jeremy's in first, Mark's in second, Vito's in third, Swami in fourth, and Trenny and C in fifth. I want to stress that none of these were bad, and actually when I first sipped them, I probably would have put Trenny and C's ahead of Swami's, but when I went back to Swami's, I actually really liked the peat notes that I got out of that. It just goes to show how much I've changed in palate over the years, because 3-4 years ago, you gave me this entire collection, and the Canadian whiskey and the Macallan one would probably be first and second. Mark's would probably be third, and then you would have Vito's because it was less peated, and Swami's because it was most peated at the end, where Vito's came in third. I really like that, and it beat out the Canadian whiskey, and it beat out Swami's. So I thought that was pretty cool. Very cool challenge. Very cool of Jeremy to set this all up. Thank you very much, buddy. I really appreciate it. We'll have to do something like this again. Maybe the next one will be on my terms, and I'll set this up. Cheers, guys.